It is January the 12th, 2020. What? 2022. Now, I'm not one of these people that mixes up the years in January. Everyone's, it still feels like it's 2021. I can't stop saying 2021. I go right into it. 2022. I am James. You are you. We are here for another breathtaking edition of At Home with James. I'm going to do this right off the hop. Programming announcement. Earlier today, I said that the one and only downtown Alex Brown would be on this show. I intended on confronting her about her sexual feelings towards one James, not McGee, Spader. Last time she was here, she talked about wanting James Spader from the late 80s, early 90s to, quote, boss her around. I was going to confront her like this was an episode of the Maury Povich show, or maybe the Jenny Jones show, or the Ricky Lake show. Unfortunately, Alex cannot be here tonight because her power is out. Now, this could be a gigantic fake excuse. It's one of those excuses, very tough to tell. We've all been lied to. We've all been given fake excuses, whether it's, you're going on a hot date with someone, or at least you think you are, or you're putting together a modest internet streaming program. People drop like flies. We want to send our deepest thoughts and prayers to Alex Brown and her roommate, Vance Gillis, as they go through this difficult and uncertain time. But aren't we all going through difficult and uncertain times right here, right now? We had it made in the shade from, let's say, July into December. We had it made in the shade. And then COVID comes creeping back like a pervert in the bushes, sniffing the backs of our necks, breathing into our mouths. Because that's what COVID is. It's a pervert. But here's the thing. I can't totally be anti-COVID, because when COVID cases go up, so does this show's viewership. So, of course, we want to dedicate tonight's show to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, here's the thing. People, I get it. You're upset. You're very, look, we got the Horatio Arrudas of the world that are frustrated and upset. They're quitting their jobs. People are upset because they can't go out. They can't perform. They can't socialize. They can't go to Sir Winston Churchill pub on a Friday night. People are upset because they can't get no poontang. I'm going to tell you what's what right here, right now. This is a poontang free zone. Nothing sexy is coming in or out. Look, I don't want to laugh at my own jokes on this show. This is what happens. Look, here's the deal. I don't do a lot of jokes on this show. But what you can't see is when I'm doing this opening thing, sometimes I make the people that are going to be on the show, I see them laugh, and I don't hear it, but I see it. It tickles me. You know what tickled me? Yesterday, my little booster shot. I am triple dose, and I'm ready to go. I'm not getting no poontang. Don't worry, I ain't going to no Winston Churchill pub for a margarita and a lovely time in a back alley. I leave that to the Andy Asafs of the world. What I am going to bring to you is a non-stop hour of comedy, knock on wood, and conversation. And if my reaction to this show is any indication, it's going to be a funny program. Who's here tonight? Later on, it's the return of Dr. Jack Nasty. Now, I don't know the circumstances surrounding his appearance tonight, but he has let me know that he's got an important announcement. So that's much later on. Also joining the show tonight, in place of Alex Brown, I asked this person to join no more than 30 minutes ago. Annabelle Agnew's back. This time next week, she's going to have her own segment on this show. I don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to wing it. We're going to wing it. First and foremost, this doesn't happen too much, is a first-time guest alert. That's right. When you hear that annoying and unpleasant noise, it means there's a first-time guest. Now, this character, I'm not going to call this guy a guy yet. He's a character. He's got to earn some status around these parts here. You give me a lift home about a month ago or so. It was pre-Omicron. He's saying, James, I'm a big fan of your show. I love what you do. My favorite program. I got an idea for your little internet show. I said, well, let's hear it. Don't tease me unless you want to please me. He said, I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. That's the Fab Four, the Beatles. I'll tell you right now, this guy's got a controversial opinion. And no, he's not going to come on here and say that he wishes that all of the Beatles had been assassinated. That's not what he's here to talk about tonight. I'm going to let him introduce the concept that he wants to introduce to you by way of this show. So let's welcome for the first time ever, Charles Montgomery. Charles, welcome to the program. How are you feeling tonight? You like that intro?
I like that intro, but I heard like a weird siren a couple of minutes ago and it threw me off a little bit. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's a first time guest alert. Ooh, ooh. You like that?
It could be my last time. That is terrifying.
Charles, let's cut the crap right now. You a little nervous to be here tonight?
A little bit, yeah.
Now I want to ask you: did you put this shirt on for the show, or were you already wearing that shirt?
I put this shirt on for the show because I thought my ratty gray T-shirt wasn't going to cut it.
Look! You see the way that I'm dressed? I ain't no Casanova. I ain't no Rico Suave.
Well,
I'm dressed like I'm going to go see Soundgarden, 1991.
True, but you said this was going to be a poontang-free, non-sexy zone for the next 60 minutes, and I think
correct.
You dressed appropriately.
Yeah, well, based on the way that you're dressed, I feel like you're going to turn things around.
You never know what might happen.
This chat room is going to get moist tonight.
Ooh,
I'm not talking about the David Usher brand of moist either. Now, also, I want to talk about the way that you set up your framing here. Did you set up in front of books to come off as some type of educated type of character?
If I wanted to make a good impression with my background, I would have gotten rid of that big fondue pot at the top there, I think.
Oh, look at okay. So I want everyone to take note of that. Charles keeps his fondue pot on a bookshelf. All right, Charles, yeah. You passed the first test of the night. You've been able to stand toe-to-toe with my severe questions.
Well, yeah, I'm glad we're off to a good start here.
All right, you a little nervous still?
Me? I'm okay.
All right. Now we got a question coming in from the chat. Phil Smith, where do you keep your fondue pot? That's obviously to me. I don't have no fondue pot. I'm not one of these Charles guys. I'm not rich.
Well, listen, I might be able to help you with that because I don't have a fondue pot. I have 2 fondue pots.
All right. So you're saying you're going to give it to me, the less fortunate.
It's something like that. Yeah.
All right.
I'm feeling very charitable on this Wednesday.
I want to get into it. This is the boosted edition of the At Home Show. Charles, you're not boosted yet, right?
I have an appointment next Monday. Next time I appear on the show, I will be so boosted.
All right. Well, you're getting ahead of yourself. You're talking about next time already. We don't even know how this time's going.
Well, I feel like we're hitting it off. I feel like, I can't see the comments, but I feel like there must be.
I like your confidence. I like the cut of your jib. I like the cut of your jib, young man. All right. Let's get into it. Are you a little nervous to get your needle?
No, I mean, I'm good with needles. I'm feeling a-okay about the third one. I've had practice. The first one was, first needle in a long time. Second one, easy peasy. What's even to worry about with the third one?
I'll tell you what, yesterday, my nurse was a muscle man.
Oh.
He was jacked. I thought this guy is really going to give it to me. He's going to look at me. I would have been like the guy he would have kicked sand in the face of on the beach.
But was it kind of reassuring in that, like, if maybe you had fainted or something, he could have scooped you up in his muscly arms?
He was so gentle. And I said it to him. I said, I didn't feel anything. And he looked at me and he said, I know, right? This guy knows what he's doing. He put that needle in me like a hot knife through butter. Charles, I set this whole thing up tonight. I talked about the history of you setting up this segment. So I want you to express your controversial opinion of what people should be doing with the Beatles music. I like to call them the Fab Four.
I came here to talk Beatles and music with you, but I actually made a little discovery this week, still on the topic of music. And I was wondering if it'd be okay if I threw a little curveball at the discussion right now.
Okay. All right. You come on to the program, you set up what you're going to do, then you throw a curveball. I like the cut of your jib.
Well, also because Annabelle's here and it pertains to something that you and her were talking about maybe a month ago. You were talking about Bryan Adams, Canada's national treasure.
You are really securing your next appearance on this show by bringing up Bryan Adams.
Well, hold on a moment. Because you were expressing the opinion that while you're generally a fan, you're not the biggest fan of his smash hit Summer of '69 because of the connotations, the sexual connotations that are right there in the title.
Yeah, that whole song is about poontang.
Well, not just poontang, but a specific act related to poontang.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now.
Well, I definitely am, because I did a little digging. I conducted some research. I talked to some people.
Oh, you're
and I
doing
found
research
out-
on 69ing?
Well, on,
You
on
talk to some people about it?
yeah, exactly. That's where I'm going with this. You're way ahead of it. It turns out that that's not the only song that Bryan Adams has that's about 69ing. From
Oh,
the people I've talked to, from the forums I saw, it turns out that
I
every
can't believe
Bryan
you were going to
Adams song,
forums.
every Bryan Adams song is about 69ing. Were you aware?
I'd like for you to expand on this. I feel like you're yanking my chain.
Well, there's some yanking, but it's just in those lyrics. Personally, I think this is kind of a journey of discovery that people should take on their own in a dark room, preferably with the screen turned away from the nearest door. But I did think you'd want examples, so I brought a couple of examples.
Yeah, I would like some examples because I feel like this is going to besmirch the good name of Mr. Adams.
This is not me. This is people who know him. This is studio engineers. This is record label people. Take, for example, his song, Can't Stop This Thing We Started.
Yep, I love that song.
We, two people, lovers, they've started something together, mutually. And now that they've started that thing, they cannot stop.
Yeah, I feel like you're forcing the 69 in here, though. But I'm curious about this.
Just what I heard.
I'm willing to humor this.
Okay. He had that mega hit, Everything I Do.
Now hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Can't stop this thing we started.
Yeah, together.
In those lyrics, he says, I'm going one way, your way. Let's make it our way.
Exactly. You're getting with this.
All right.
Okay.
Talk about heaven.
I mean, heaven. I mean, what's a bigger example than heaven, but you and your lady, intimately positioned and just, dying there in each other's arms, so to speak. Except this more
there's a lot of terminology you're using that's really turning me right off.
But here's the one that
dying
really surprised me.
You not breathing down there, Charles?
It's hard to breathe.
I'm willing to hear you out.
His mega hit, Everything I Do It For You. So before that, this is actually an example of him compromising on his vision. And you know what vision I'm talking about, because the original title of that song was Everything I Do It for You, provided that you do it back to me at the same time. It was a lot clunkier, but it was really in keeping with his vision.
Yeah.
But then he discovered that was going on the soundtrack of a family movie, and he had to cut it down. He did the right
thing. the Robin Hood movie.
Yeah. One more example, he had that powerful duet with Tina Turner, It's Only Love. Hey, what's that thing an inch away from my face? It's only love. It's right there for all to see.
When life ain't worth living and you're ready to give in, just remember, it's only love.
All kinds of giving happening, give and take, really.
When your world has been shattered, ain't nothing else matters.
Yeah.
It ain't over.
Yeah.
It's only love.
Well, I mean, that one, he's just filling up some space.
All right. So you're telling me, and everyone watching right now,
I'm just the middleman in this.
That you think that there is a direct link to the 69 Sex Act to each and every one of Bryan Adams' songs?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What about Cuts Like a Knife?
Oh, man. Sometimes you're in there and you can't really see what's going on. And maybe you get hit with something and you don't know what it is. And just for a second there, you think for a second that cuts like a knife, but no, it's not actually a knife, and you're okay.
All right. Okay.
I'd
like to ask you about a couple more of his songs that you allege have direct connotations to 69.
Again, this is not, this is what people say about him. I'm not alleging anything. This is
what about Somebody?
Somebody, yeah. Okay. Well, that one's not so hard, It's you're in the sack, it's all topsy-turvy, you lose track of who you might be with, you don't see faces all the time. I need somebody. And it's just about figuring out again who it is you're with, and the magic you're sharing with each other.
All right, what about 18 Till I Die?
That one I ain't touching.
Smart man, that was a trick question. I'm writing this down too. You're doing a pretty good job right now, Charles.
Actually, I was
a curveball.
I
and
was
I liked
talking
it.
to, if I can like just raise one more point on this, like I was talking to one studio engineer who was like really dishing the dirt. Well, this isn't so much dirt, it's more like a touching behind the scenes tale. Um, you remember that Bryan Adams had that smash hit with Mel C from the Spice Girls, Baby When You're Gone.
Yeah, of course.
So they went into the studio, so this studio engineer tells me, and they just quickly recorded like a rough demo just to get a feel for it. And afterwards, they went back and they listened to it through and they were like, we're really onto something here. This is a great song. But Bryan Adams was like, it's a great song, but right now there's not enough 69ing in it for me. Just not enough. It's not up to the Adams standard. So they're consummate professionals, both of them, went back into the studio. They added an additional verse and they added a bridge really to just stick the messaging in there. And, the rest is history.
All right. What's that? What are those additional lyrics that have to touch on 69ing?
I was very busy today. I did not study all the lyrics, but it's there. And once again, I urge people to do a little research on their own,
Hold on. Let's just think about this, right? I'm willing to humor this. Baby, when you're gone, I realize I'm in love.
Yeah.
Days go on and on.
Yeah.
The nights just seem so long. Even food don't taste that good.
Ooh, yes.
That drink ain't doing what it should.
That is about, some people say that when you're really enjoying yourself, time passes too quickly. But what that song is expressing is that sometimes when you're really in the heat of the moment, time just goes on forever. And you forget about the essentials of humanity, like eating and drinking. Those things all just fall to the wayside when you are enjoying your favorite activity.
Well, I will say this is not much of a conspiracy theory friendly show. Not a lot of conspiracy theory heavy content here. Well, this might be the first ever conspiracy theory in at-home history.
I still think you can say that this is not a conspiracy theory show because this is, from what I understand, this is fact.
Well, coming in from the chat right now, from our friend Naive Adventures, been watching this show since before this show was a show. She says, quote, "Love this guest."
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Also coming in for another legendary viewer, high score run, quote, "It's all linked. 69 is just an infinite symbol." Coming in from Devin, our production assistant, 69 minus 18 equals 51. 51 is the number of states that you can 69 in.
See, the viewers are on board. I still sense that you're resisting a bit, though.
Yeah, well, because I feel like you've thrown me through a loop. You're here telling me we're going to talk about George and Ringo and Paul
and we still can.
And John. And then you're telling me Bryan Adams, his lyrics are filth-filled.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you.
Well, this is going to give me something to think about tonight.
Actually, I think it's kind of unfair to say they're filth-filled because the whole thing is like he takes a very intimate act, what can be a filthy act if not done correctly, and he makes poetry out of it.
Yeah, what makes it filthy?
I mean, I guess you could say what makes it filthy is oh boy, I have to be filthy in order to answer that question. I don't know if it's that kind of show.
We'll pause that. It's not that kind of show. Despite the best effort of a lot of guests that appear on this thing, they're talking about, cunnilingus, analingus, BJs, HJs, RJs, TJs. I'm not one of these people. I ain't no filth monger. Why don't we take a bit of a left turn here and talk about something a little bit more pleasant right now? Yeah. I've been teasing this. If we don't get into this, the viewers are going to come. They're going to beat me up. One by one. They're going to punch me in the stomach. Now, you were giving me a lift home not too long ago. Right. You had this proposition, let's call it, about the Beatles and their music. You're a Beatles fan?
I would say I'm in the great Stones versus Beatles debate, maybe I come down a little stronger on the Stones side.
Yeah. You know what I say about that debate?
What's that?
Who cares?
Exactly.
What does it matter? It's just, okay, well, the Beatles or the Kinks.
Yeah.
The Beatles or the Byrds. The Beatles or Veruca Salt.
That's just absurd now.
Just what does it matter? What do you have to compare?
It's human nature to compare.
You know what? You're right. Look, I'm feisty here. Okay, you like the Beatles. You like
I do like the Beatles, but there's been something that's been bothering me for a long time, and I thought I'd keep it to myself because it
Yeah,
is a
what
little
was that? Not enough
controversial.
69ing in their lyrics?
Well, that bothers me too, for sure.
All right.
Um, but I kept it to myself because I didn't think people would be on board, even though I think it's for the benefit of all humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But then a certain media event happened in December featuring the
Mm-hmm.
Beatles.
Yeah, we're talking about the Get Back documentary.
We are talking about all 7 hours or so of the Get Back documentary,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't keep it to myself anymore. I have to tell the people, I have to get people on board. We got to move ahead with this.
Okay.
What I am proposing is that we all rally together, and Lord knows the planet needs an issue to rally around,
Yeah.
to implement a 3 to 5 year complete ban on the Beatles.
3 to 5 year complete ban on the Beatles. So an embargo.
Yeah, I feel, I feel like the Beatles, I don't think there's any debate that the Beatles are said to be the greatest rock and roll band of all time. I think the Beatles is the first band anyone thinks of when, even the word rock and roll band comes up.
Sure.
There's some debating the fine points, but they're a big band.
Yep.
And considering their influence, they didn't actually release that much music and they weren't around for that much time. And we are now something like 5 decades on.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, and I know people out there feel this too, that maybe the magic of the Beatles is starting to wane. We don't feel in our hearts the way we felt about their songs in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They've been overexposed. You see them in TV commercials and movies. And I think if we outlaw the Beatles for 3 to 5 years, and we'll discuss that if there's time, it'll give us a chance to fall in love with the Fab Four all over again.
Okay, so you're saying that this ban is to create a larger love for the Beatles because they've become too exposed. As you mentioned, you've seen them in commercials and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now are you ready for the blowback that might come with this proposal?
I'm actually sitting next to like freshly boarded up windows right now.
Right.
So I expect an angry mob to start forming.
So you're ready for the dozens of people that might try to break into your home and
dozens.
Yeah.
I think you're insulting the power of the Beatles, that the power they
no, I'm insulting the power of this show's fan base.
Okay, I could see that point.
Yeah. When it comes down to who's hotter, the Beatles or the At Home show,
mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to have to give it to the Beatles by a narrow edge.
Even still now?
So have you brought this proposal up to anyone else, and what do they say to you?
No, I haven't brought it up. Like, I've really been playing my cards close to my chest. But
yep.
I think this can be the launch pad that we need. If, the 12 people watching tell 12 people who tell 12 people and so on.
Okay.
We can get this into play. I'm thinking, everyone just packs up all their Beatles stuff in a box. We take it to some kind of centralized facility. It's scrubbed from Spotify. I'm thinking like where it's in movies, maybe they edit it out and replace it with Benny Hill's yakety sax to really help us.
Okay, all right. So, Now that's controversial, but let's continue.
Well, that is an annoying song. I know that, and that is just to help people really start to miss the Beatles quicker. I'm thinking we banish Paul and Ringo to their respective Downton Abbeys.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to make.
You're saying they can't even make solo music.
They can't make solo music.
You ever hear this this song Ringo started with Joe Walsh?
Ooh.
This song called, I don't even know, it might be one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life.
I could believe that.
This thing is so unbelievably bad
mm-hmm.
that I couldn't believe it. It sounded like it was one of those parody songs they might do on the Saturday Night Live show.
Is it recent?
It has to be at least in the past 2 to 3 years.
Because I do remember catching a clip of Ringo singing something on a talk show and going, "Oh my God,
sucks."
Well, his voice,
if you're saying that he can't make, and look, I ain't no Ringo hater. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon.
No.
You're saying everyone outlaws the Beatles 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the reason I have 2 terms, 2 time periods is that, maybe after 3 years, maybe it becomes a little too much to take. People really miss it. And so maybe after 3 years, we can make selective use of Beatles music.
But we can't even listen to Paul McCartney and Wings?
No, definitely not. Oh, wait, Wings? I don't know. Do you want to listen to Wings?
Yep.
Fine, you can listen to Wings. I'll give it to you. And Paul and Ringo, they can still talk to each other.
Yeah.
They can't talk about the Beatles. In fact, the only thing they can talk about is what TV shows they're watching and if they're any good.
Okay, so they can't reminisce. They can't even talk about, oh, I miss George.
No.
Now, this is controversial, but this is the type of guest that I like to have on the show. People that come in, they talk about the Beatles and 69ing for 20 minutes or so.
Well, I'm into music, and anytime you want to talk about the seedy underbelly of music or, controversial propositions. Well, actually, I want to ask you, I don't know how we're doing for time, but what do you make of this? What do you make of this proposal?
What do I make of it? I think it will never happen, but I understand why you're proposing it. I think it's bold of you. I think this entire appearance has been very bold for a first timer, and not bad, kid.
Thank you. I will admit, about an hour ago, I was having some reservations about the boldness I was potentially coming out with, but I'm glad I stayed the course. No,
this when it comes to content boldness, well, I've seen on this show, this is a 2 on 10. You're very well spoken, not crass. You're not dripping with filth. I thought this was very well done. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
You punched your ticket.
Click.
Punch your ticket, kid.
Thank you very much.
You can come back and play again.
I would happily, anytime there's a power failure, I'll be there.
Coming in from the chat right now, quote, best sex content on At Home with James. And I'll tell you what, there's been a lot. There's going to be more later on. I'll tell you that right now.
I like it.
Charles, I want to thank you so much for being here.
It was a pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Have a good rest of the night.
Thanks, you too.
That's Charles Montgomery. You don't get a lot of Charleses anymore, right? He comes on here with his pleasant name, but then you start to see things unfold, right? He's got that mustache and that little beard, a little Satan-like. And then that's when it really starts to creep in. He drags us down into the gutter. He's talking about 69ing. The guy didn't clear it with me, I'll tell you that much. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Let's welcome our next guest. Before we do that, I tried something. I wanted to tinker with my lighting. This might be, as I look at our stream right now, the worst effing lighting I've ever had on the history of this show. And I'll tell you what, to make matters worse, I got a zit right here. Look at that. Before the show, I thought, James, your beard's not bad. You're looking pretty handsome. I got a zit right here. I'm going on 35 years old. I got a zit in the middle of my forehead. And that's just going to be it for the rest of my life. Every now and then you get a zit. I'm not going to stop eating junk food. Let's welcome our next guest, the one, the only, Annabelle Agnew. Annabelle, you like that intro?
Yeah, great.
Talking about my zit. You ever get grown-up zits anymore?
All the time. So annoying. I'm 43.
Where do you get them? Let's get into it.
I get them all on the side here.
You get them on the side. Now, this is the thing. I thought to myself when I started growing a beard, like, oh, in case I get zits, it's the perfect camouflage. I don't get any over here. I had a couple pop up on my neck the other day. Oh, so painful. So painful. And they're not even summer zits. What is these winter zits?
Winter zits. Because I had COVID, I put Vicks Vapor Rub all over my neck and the back of my neck.
Yeah.
I broke out into a major rash. And then
okay. Are you prone to skin ailments, Annabelle?
I am.
It's tough, right? You use like a gentle skin cleanser before you go to bed at night, because I do.
Yep, very sensitive. Plus all
what do you? You strike me as someone that's probably got a prescription
of face stuff.
Yeah, like a nice cleanser that is a high end. That's what I'm saying. No, that you use the high end stuff, and I'm scraping the shelves.
No, I have spent a lot of money on face stuff this year.
Yeah.
Like before that, I always bought like one tube of face cream, which was oil of Olay. Yep. But now I buy really expensive stuff because I'm getting older.
Well, because I was gonna say, I don't think it's getting older. I think it's you come off with an air of class when you come on this show. This show is so classless. It makes me sick sometimes.
Well, it's all an appearance. There's no class inside. It's just a nice,
Look, prior to coming on, look, you know what? I get it, right? I got a zit right here. And then look, Does it get worse than right on the forehead? Does it get worse? The
It
nose, pretty bad.
I think these ones, when they're right here, these ones are the ones that
You know what else is bad? One of those lip zits.
I've never had that one.
You never had one on the crest of the lip. See, those are bad because people think it might be some type of sex illness.
Yes.
The other problem is that it causes a lot of inflammation. They really get swollen, so your lip gets fat.
Oh, that sounds
I
awful.
think people like this. They get the other guy talking about 69. We're talking about grown-up zits. We're part of the itty bitty zitty committee here.
Hey, I haven't been on that committee yet, so I'm all for it.
Welcome to the club. You ever get one in the nostril?
No, James, these are places that I just didn't know zits could go.
Nostril, pretty tough. What about inside the ear? You ever had one of those?
Nope. No, I feel like I missed out.
Now coming in from the chat right now, this might be an all-time chat comment. High score run. This person says lip zits equals too much 69ing.
Oh,
It's a great. Now that's a great comment.
So then you're guilty then, James.
I'm not saying, look, you got this Charles guy coming on here saying Bryan Adams is a 69 monger, high score run, saying it's from that. I'm not laying claim to any of this stuff. The opinions of these people reflect none of my opinions. Annabelle, you didn't even know you were going to be on this show up until about what, 20 minutes before the show started.
I think 20 minutes is generous. I'd say 10 minutes before the show started. I knew.
Now I sent it about maybe 30 minutes, but you saw it 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have any reservations where you're like, you know what? I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. I don't really have much to say, but I know that I generally have something to say about anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Now you and I have not known each other for that long, right?
No.
Maybe what about, let's say give or take, let's round it to a year perhaps.
Yeah. But
right.
Yeah.
But there's just some people that you meet in life and you go, I can talk to this person.
Yeah.
And I like to think that's exactly what you thought about me.
Yeah. I mean, we had breakfast, right? We ended up talking for ages.
We had breakfast. And look, before the people start talking, they like to talk about me. I wanted to get your advice because you're a photographer.
Yeah.
About getting headshots done. I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be getting them done. If we had these planned for tomorrow, I'd say we're canceling them.
No, I would clone that out. I'd just remove it.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Now, Annabelle, you've agreed to take some headshots for me because I'm what some people would call ambitionless, very little work ethic. It's up to you to do what no person has ever done. That's take a headshot of me. I don't know what I'm going to do. Do I get a haircut? I remember you said I'd get a trim your beard if I were you.
Yes.
Now, what do you think about this? I think this length, not bad. What do you think?
I think any length of beard is fine. It just needs to be cleaned up because
that's okay. So a little bit of a cleaning. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think about, what about a haircut? Right now, this is the thing. I rarely take my hat off on this show. Here we go. Look at this. I need to do something about this hair. This thing, I look like an alfalfa without the point.
Well, if you didn't put a hat on, and I'm sure, it would, I'm sure it would look better.
Look how, no wonder I'm getting zits on my forehead. This hair is just dripping grease, something fierce. Annabelle, look, here's the deal. I'm falling apart here, Annabelle.
You're all right. I'm just recovering from COVID. So,
well, I let's stay on the zit topic here because I think we found something. Now, you've got a teenage daughter, right?
Yeah.
Now, has she woke up like, oh no, it's the big dance tonight. I got a zit, like in the ABC family sitcoms?
Oh yeah, she gets zits and she uses lots of different types of creams. She's got more lotions and creams than I do.
It's tough when you're a youngster. It's tough when you're a youngster. You think this is it for me. Oh
man, I wouldn't want to be a teenager again. That's for sure.
Now, do you think it's got to be tougher now than it was before, right?
Absolutely. With all of everything you can see online.
Yeah.
But she gets a lot more tutorials about what to do than I did.
Right? Yeah, back we had to go to the dermatologist.
What's that?
We had to go to the dermatologist for our problems.
Yeah, but also I just had no clue like how to look good in any kind of way. It was all guesswork.
Now, do you ever say this to your daughter? You ever say, back when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, I was your age.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of these YouTubes and Instagrams and TikToks.
Yeah. She's highly conscious of what looks good and always has been.
Yeah.
I'm a person that's in their head a lot. So I didn't
Yeah.
really think a lot about what I used to wear, or I had my own sort of ideas about what looked good.
Okay. Now, can you take us through what kind of you look like back in your day? Was maybe a bit of a Debbie Gibson look, a lot of big hats?
Mm. Well, I grew up in the 90s. I was deep.
Yeah, maybe
very-
that reference aged you a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. I've already said what my age is.
So let's maybe something a little bit more maybe some type of Blossom Mayim Bialy style hat. Big hats too.
So, okay, first I had a pair of glasses. So this kind of ties into what you were talking about with Charles. I had a pair of glasses that were John Lennon-like, because I liked John Lennon.
Yeah.
In fact, I was in love with John Lennon and was devastated to find out that he was dead.
Long after he had been dead.
Long after.
Mhm.
So I went down to the basement to cry when I found out about that.
What year was this?
I was about 13 or 14.
So that brings us to
About 1992.
So you found out that he had passed away. That's 12 years after his death.
The 12 years, I was like, nobody told me. Like, I
Yeah.
had all these plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had glasses, and when I went to go get the glasses, the optometrist convinced me to get photo gray on the glasses, so they were tinted. And I was joking with Dale the other day about
We'll talk about Dale Bernier, friend of the show, who recently just returned after a 1-year ban.
That's right. Now he's banned again.
Yeah, he's banned again. We'll see him in 2023. So you're talking about these glasses.
Yeah,
You got old person glasses.
I did, or pedophile glasses, as some people called it when I was in high school.
Woo! It's one of those nights on the show, folks. All right. So do you ever think to yourself now, when you look at your teen kid and you're like, if I knew what you knew now, kind of like that old Faces song, I wish now that I knew what I known then. Or wait, who cares? Let's go back to the question that I just asked. You ever look at your kid now and go, if I were you back when I was your age?
No,
Not at all.
not
Okay.
at all, because I think she's way more, she's got it more figured out than I ever did.
Yeah.
I went to high school with like plastic whales tied around my neck because I thought that was cool.
Yeah, but maybe that was cool at the time, right?
It wasn't.
Okay, so let's talk about your social standing in school. Were you part of the cool group?
No.
Okay, were you in the nerd group?
Yeah, I would say that I
There's
was.
many groups. There's the smokers, there's the outcasts, there's the art kids.
I was just kind of smart and quiet. That was it.
Someone
And very shy.
Okay,
very
so maybe one of the people that just kind of navigated around for 5 years, and then people after would be like, I never spoke to that Annabelle.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of that. And then eventually, I think when I was about 16 or 17, I started to sort of gain a social life. But I didn't.
Okay, you found it. You found it.
I did.
What did that social life look like?
Drinking and
All right.
hanging out with girlfriends, driving around in a car.
What were you listening to, right? This is kind of a bit of a music night. What were you listening to? What year does this take us to?
This would take us to like 95-ish, 96.
Okay, 95, 96. Okay. You listen to a bit of Sublime.
Beastie Boys.
All right, yeah.
Beck, that was big.
Mm-hmm.
The Breeders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Caveman. Breeders classic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's my impersonation of that song Cannonball.
No.
Oh yeah.
Who else? There was a lot of people. Oh, there was Faith No More. I think you and I talked about Faith No More.
My favorite band of all time.
Right.
My favorite band. There's so few of us.
Yeah, that was a big one. And Nirvana.
Yeah.
Universal.
Now, did you find out that Kurt Cobain died 12 years after 1994?
Wait, what?
Are you in your basement right now?
No.
We're about to see some tears shed.
No, I knew.
That equivalent would be someone finding out that Kurt Cobain died in 2006.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Doesn't it? Yeah, because the youngsters now, they're in an age of information.
Yeah. Whereas I was very ignorant.
Look, you know what? But it's just part of growing up, right? I'm on the cusp of the in-between. I'm in the in-between.
Yeah, what were you like in high school?
Oh, I was in the cool group.
Oh, were you in the cool group?
But then there was an off group where it's like we made a bit of fun of the cool group too.
Okay.
Kind of like a self-imposed black sheep of the cool group.
I see.
This is the thing. I got along with everyone. I had no enemies in school.
I could see you as being a floater, the one that floats from group.
Maybe that's going to be my new answer. I floated all around. I mostly associated with the cool kids. Here, people are like, I hated my high school experience. I thought it was boring. I was happy to be done with it. I have no bad memories of high school. I just couldn't wait for it to be done.
Yeah. I definitely had a lot more fun after high school.
Yeah. Look at that. See, 10 minutes before the show, we're talking about we have no plans. There's no plans. Think about everything that we talked about in this segment. We talked about zits, talked about kids. We talked about music. We talked about teen years, talked about the death of Mr. John Lennon.
Yeah.
Talked about music. We did it all. We did.
We did.
And that's how confident I felt in sending you that last minute request.
Well, I'm glad that you felt confident to do that, and I'm glad I fulfilled it.
More than fulfilled it. Now, I want to talk about something. Last time you were here, you talked about how you were singing Bryan Adams, apparently the 69 King.
Yes.
What do you think about that, by the way, that theory?
Well, I will say that one of the forums that Charles was referencing might have been from last night. It might have been discussed last night. So I wasn't really.
You're saying this guy tried out his bit before he came on the show. He did some market research.
I'm not saying that I'm not sure that he exactly said.
Okay.
But I don't know that I fully fall in line with that, because everything I do it for you was a big song.
You just sang that for your family the other day, and now he's saying he's taking that song down into the gutter.
Yeah, and I was madly in love with this boy in grade 9, and I played that song on repeat, and my sister reminded me the other day that I recorded it on a whole cassette back to back, the same song, so I wouldn't have to rewind it, and I played it over and over again just so I could think about this boy who didn't know I existed.
Yeah, and think about the way you're going to think about this song now.
And I never thought about 69. I didn't even know
what you shouldn't. I'm saying no to this theory. I'm saying no to the theory right now. I'm making an executive decision here. But this is all to say, you sang this 69 song for your family.
I did.
Now, next time you appear, I would like for us to see some of this footage. Now, we briefly discussed this, and I think we're on the same page that we're going to do it. Annabelle, is that fair to say that we're going to get to see a pre-recorded performance of you singing Bryan Adams, Everything I Do It For You?
That's right. 069 is inferred in that song also.
I agree.
Yeah. And there's a story to it about that crush.
Yeah.
Later in life.
Okay, so maybe next time we're here, we're going to go back into the archives. We're going to hear about this crush. Can we know what this young man's name was? We'll just get his first name.
Well, he has a very original name. So he's very, his first name is Drury.
Drury? It's a terrible name.
I loved it.
Look, it made him unique. It made him stand out. So next time you're here, we're gonna hear about this love story that maybe never was. We don't know.
Unrequited.
We don't know. And then we're gonna throw to you with a live musical performance, or at least a pre-recorded live musical performance from you singing that song to your entire family over this past 2022 holidays.
That's right.
Annabelle,
2021, actually.
That's correct. I'm skipping ahead here. Annabelle, I owe you one for jumping in so last minute. You keep saying no, but I'm going to do it.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do for me?
I don't know. I don't know, but something's going to happen.
All right. Okay.
Annabelle, thanks so much for being here, and we'll talk soon for your musical performance.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much. Look at that. This show, it's rolling through. There are nights I'm sitting here, I'm just staring at the clock thinking, when are we going to put this show out of its misery? Tonight, is not one of those nights, because you as the audience, me, Bryan Adams, everything that I do it for you. There's no love like your love. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not me inviting everyone who watches this show to 69. No chance in hell. There ain't no poontang around these parts. Let's welcome our next guest, because that's a perfect segue. He's been here before. Claims to be some type of PhD in the works of sex and things of that nature. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Jack Nasty.
Oh, James, that's nasty, James.
You must be loving this show tonight,
Woo,
Dr. Nasty.
This show is like, I tell you what, James, this show reminds me of my sophomore year in college.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's nasty. And
Yeah,
it also reminds me of my junior year, my freshman year, and my senior year. Just kidding, I dropped out.
Wait, how did you get a PhD if you've dropped out of all these courses?
Well, James, in my line of work, you gotta just show results. So it's not so much about the diploma you have on your wall, more about the nasty things you do, James.
Oh, so you're saying it's kind of like being a grower, not a shower.
Exactly, James. That's actually what we say in my field.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I've come to understand that you had a very important thing that you wanted to address. You demanded to be on the show tonight.
James, you having me on this show tonight might save lives.
Why is that?
Because, James, we have an important emergency, a crisis, and I think I'm the only one who could stop it.
Oh, is this a filthy crisis? What are we talking about
Oh,
tonight?
James, I mean, the crisis is pretty nasty, but the solution is even nastier.
Okay, would you like to spill the beans?
All right, James, so as we know, you said it at the top of the show, okay? There was someone who stepped down, I hear, in your home province.
Yeah, Dr. Horatio Arruda. He was now formerly the public health director of Quebec. He stepped down this week.
So I heard this. I was in my lab, and I dropped my salami sandwich, and I ran out the door and went to the local library because that's the only place you can get internet access where I am.
You don't have the internet in your own lab?
I'm located in the Philippines, James. So
Okay,
I have to go to the local library, and I logged in, and I found that news story, and I said, "Oh my goodness, James, this changes everything." I just want to throw it out there. If they're looking for a new doctor as your head of health in Quebec, I think Dr. Jack Nasty is up for the job.
Wait, you're saying that you would like to nominate yourself to become the new public health director in the province of Quebec?
I would like to throw my hat into the selection committee process. I don't know how you do it there.
So not only do you want to be... Now, I want to clarify here. You want to be part of the selection committee as well.
I want to be on the selection committee,
well
elected to the
as
selection committee, and then I will help decide the next head of health for Quebec, which I think should be myself.
All right, so...
You could vote for yourself in a democracy, James. There's nothing that says...
agree.
If you ran for president, James, or prime minister, or a premier... Imagine the cabinet we could have. You as premier, me as head of health.
To do that, if I were to run for premier, prime minister, I would have some type of background in politics. You have no background.
James, you're a man of the people.
Yeah, but you have no background.
You broadcast out to tens of people every night. They respect you. They love you. And yes, James, I do have a background in health, as you can see by the title that's appearing on the screen right now. I am a PhD in I'm an epidemiologist and infectious disease expert from personal experience, James.
All right. So let's talk about this. So you want to be the public health director, and of course they probably deal with or have a background in epidemiology.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm reading this correctly, you have a background in epidemiology.
Oh, yeah.
Now, would you like to describe what that means?
Well, James, as you know, I've come many, many times on here whenever you needed some sort of expert advice in the health and medical field. And of course, I work here in my remote laboratory with my doctor babes, and we come up with different cures and proofs and research around sexuality and sex. And James,
I like how you wanted to distinguish those two things, sexuality
Yes,
and
and sex. And James, as you know, I've been on this show many times. In fact, I think the last time I was on the show, I developed my own COVID-19 vaccine that turned me into a werewolf of sorts.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see that you've recovered from that.
Fully recovered, fully back, baby. And James, I think that I'm the perfect person to talk on the COVID issue because I perfected my body. I cannot get COVID anymore.
How did you do that?
Well, first of all, I developed my super sexy, nasty vaccine with all of my specimens I have here.
Yo,
Look
so
at
they're
all the
your
different colors
specimens and your
specimens.
doctors? That's it sounds inappropriate.
James, this is just science. It's not supposed to be inappropriate. It's just science, James.
All right, okay.
Okay, and now I cannot catch COVID.
All right. Well, I want to discuss this because it seems like you're catching other things. You claim to be an infectious disease expert, and then in parentheses you've written personal experience.
Yeah, James, I've caught them all. And now I'm immune. James,
You're what do you mean immune?
I'm immune to all of them.
Let's back that up.
To all of it, James. I'm a nasty, nasty man.
Are you talking about sexually transmitted?
Sure. And the non-sex ones too.
You've caught all of
Yeah, malaria. Caught it.
Wait.
Beat it.
You claim to have caught every disease,
Everyone known
to humanity,
and this is why.
This is
why, James. Look at there. I was March 2020, and they say there's a new one that just dropped a novel virus.
You say just drop like it's an album.
And I needed to try it for myself, James. And then I developed my own vaccine, which, as I explained on the last episode, I think it is just a super version of the. You know how vaccines are supposed to be less effective versions of the virus. This was a souped up, nasty version of COVID.
Okay, so hold on. You injected yourself with a version, or you willingly caught the COVID-19 virus?
James, I modified the virus with my specimens, as I alluded to earlier.
Okay, so this is a genetically modified version of COVID-19?
When I mixed it with my specimens, my bodily specimens, it created this is just the science, James. I don't want to bog you down in technical details, but it made it into a super COVID.
Yeah, we wouldn't want technical details.
It made it into a super COVID, James, that made me so nasty I turned into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Look, James, I'm spelling it out. I don't see how you're not getting this, James.
Well, they've instated an interim public health director. I believe his name is Dr. Luc Boileau.
Okay, well, look,
and I'll say this,
look out, Luke.
Not as cool as yours.
Because
I will see to you that your name is cool.
James, we all know that these doctors on TV, they're movie stars, baby. James, they're movie stars. They're more movie stars than doctors. So why not have someone nasty on screen telling you what you want to hear, which will be my prescription to everyone and to you, James. More sex.
Okay, so I was going to bring this up. Now, the job of a public health director is not just to give medical advice, but also ways in which you can keep yourself safe.
There you go, James.
We've been hearing the same thing for 20, 22, 23 months for a while, right?
We need some fresh, nasty ideas, James.
Sure, and there's nothing wrong with fresh eyes. And we've heard the same thing, as I mentioned, right? Wear a mask, stay distant, stay home, get away from public gatherings. What would you say is different than the ideas that have been provided to us thus far?
James, is real simple, okay? I'd get on TV tonight, if possible.
Yeah,
if you could grease. Hello, people of Quebec. Okay, so this would be the report going out fresh tonight, James. I want you to hold your loved ones close and your loved ones even closer. And I don't mean family, James. That's gross. I know what you're thinking. And I want you to go put on your favorite Bryan Adams song. Okay, James. Looking at you. And I want you to just do whatever it tells you. All right. Read between the lines, James. Maybe put on blurred lines. No, that one's weird. James, I want you to listen to some Bryan Adams, and then I want you to get nasty.
Okay, so your tips is to have people have sex. That's what you're suggesting to combat COVID.
James, my research has shown. Okay, I'm a simple man, James. Okay, I don't
Too
have
simple.
a fondue maker on my shelf. Okay.
Look, you know what? There's something you and I have in common. We do not have fondue makers.
My fondue maker was broken
No.
after my last dinner party.
All right, I thought you were going to say your fondue maker is something else. So
That would have been a better one. Let me take that again. My fondue maker, James. I am the fondue maker.
Oh.
But James, I'm a simple man, okay? I have simple pleasures. And I wouldn't say it if it didn't work, okay? If everybody had sex, James, our immune response would be through the roof.
But what about the people that don't live? Like, I don't live with anyone. And right now, every health directive that we've been given is to avoid contact.
And this is why, James, we will be, as a government, very heavy-handed with this, almost like Hunger Games style. We will pair you with an eligible bachelorette, and you would have to live together in isolation.
It sounds like a nightmare.
James, I'm sorry, James. You're telling me you didn't read 1984 and you didn't read that and go, seems like a pretty good time.
In fact, I have not read that book.
Well, it gets real nasty, James. It's about a guy who finds a girl. And you know what happens next.
Glasses,
You
Dr.
know what
Nasty.
happens next.
Yeah. Okay, so this is you officially throwing your name into the hat to become the new public health director. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yes.
This is breaking news, and this is not much of a topical program, as you can tell from the first two segments.
Fire up the ticker tape, James. I want to be the next health minister, head of whatever you call it over there.
Public health director.
Public health director. And of course, this would require Justin Trudeau to allow me back in the country, whatever.
Wait, you're banned from Canada?
James, I don't want to get bogged down in the technical details here, but my research is cutting edge, okay? And some say controversial, and some say illegal. But I say it's science, James. I'm the only one bold enough, okay, to try my own things on myself.
Okay, so you're your
own stuff.
Right? Look, we cannot say that you're not down for experimentation.
James, look, we need fresh ideas. There are people I see on the news saying drink your own pee. Okay. There are people saying that you could, take horse Tylenol and feel better. I'm saying what we all want to hear. Let's get nasty. Who doesn't want to get nasty?
Well, do you endorse the booster, or are you just all about getting nasty?
Well, let me tell you what, James. I do get a boost.
Yeah, it sounds like you're talking about different types of injections.
I do get a boost when James. I am the fondue maker.
All right. Well, Dr. Jack Nasty, any final thoughts before we call it a night here and wrap this sucker up?
Look, James, I think we learned a lot tonight. Okay, James,
Yeah.
And I
have learned a lot.
And I want to look, if maybe we won't be successful here. I know you have a lot of sway in the halls of power. But if for whatever reason we're not successful in getting me instated as the health director of Quebec, I would like to invite you down to my laboratory here in the Philippines to try it for yourself. Try my cutting edge treatments for yourself. We can try my cutting edge therapies for yourself. And we can try some new stuff too, James. We could spice it up. Okay, James, but this is an open invite. So if you change your mind, I would love to have. Look, this is a private island. It's me, Kim.com, the other guy, who McAfee, but he's rest in peace. He's no longer here. They got him. Okay, we're on a compound. We're doing some crazy stuff with crypto and again, specimens, James, and we want yours.
Well, look, the invitation works both ways. If you're able to re-enter Canada, maybe we can get together for a meal. Who knows? There might be an at-home 2022 summit. We're gonna see what happens.
I would love to
make it happen.
I would love to be a key speaker at the summit.
Sure, but we're not having fondue.
James, I am the fondue maker.
All right, Dr. Nasty, thanks so much for being here tonight, and have a good rest of your day, I think.
Thanks, James. Yep, it's 3 a.m. here, James. Stay nasty.
Yeah. Folks, that was Dr. Jack Nasty, and that is our show. And I do think that we've learned something tonight, whether it's that Bryan Adams songs have subliminal 69 messaging, or perhaps we can look back at our younger years with fondness and not regret, or that we can refer to fondue as something other than what we've been referring to it as for our entire lifetime. That is our show. We are going to be back this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Who's going to be here? Dimitri Quirez, Raquel Belmonte, Connor Rose, and of course, me, Lil Cutie, Sans Zit. Until then, I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and of course, be well.